Adventure?
Yes, a real jungle adventure.
All right, let's go.
Masha woke up with a smile. It was a sunny day. Bear was sleepy, but he couldn't resist Masha's enthusiasm. She bounced excitedly, and with a chuckle, Bear agreed to join her.
Look,
Masha skipped into the garden. A colorful map lay beneath the apple tree.
the Jungle of Wonders.
Wow.
Treasure, let's go find it.
The map was covered in swirls and stars. It showed a winding path through a jungle ending with a giant X. Masha's eyes sparkled with excitement. Following the map, Masha and Bear entered the forest. The air was thick with the scent of blooming flowers and the distant calls of exotic birds. Every step they took was filled with anticipation and excitement. The map they held was old and tattered, but it promised an adventure like no other. They had heard tales of this jungle, a place where magic and nature intertwined, creating a world of wonders waiting to be discovered. Tall trees reached for the sky, and sunbeams danced on the leafy floor. The forest was alive with the sounds of rustling leaves and the occasional chirp of a hidden creature. The sunlight filtered through the dense canopy, creating a mosaic of light and shadow on the forest floor. It was as if the jungle itself was welcoming them, guiding them deeper into its heart. A playful monkey swung from a branch and tossed a juicy mango to Masha. She caught it with a laugh, marveling at the vibrant colors and the sweet aroma of the fruit. The monkey chattered happily, as if encouraging them to enjoy the bounty of the jungle. It was clear that this was a place where the animals were as curious and friendly as the explorers themselves.
Welcome to the Jungle of Wonders. The sign was adorned with colorful flowers and vines, a testament to the beauty and mystery that lay ahead. It was a promise of the adventures and discoveries that awaited them in this enchanted place.
Next, a lazy sloth smiled down at them and pointed with its slow paw. Its movements were deliberate and unhurried, a stark contrast to the bustling life around it. The sloth seemed to be a guardian of the jungle, its wise eyes following their every move. It pointed them towards a path that seemed to glow with an inviting light.
Follow the path. The path was lined with vibrant flowers and curious creatures peeking out from behind the foliage. Each signpost along the way hinted at the wonders that lay ahead, from hidden waterfalls to secret groves filled with rare plants. It was a journey of discovery, with each step revealing a new marvel.
Masha giggled. Her laughter echoed through the trees, a sound of pure joy and wonder. The jungle seemed to respond to her happiness, with birds singing louder and flowers blooming brighter. It was a place where joy was contagious, and every moment was filled with magic. This jungle was full of surprises. From the smallest insect to the largest tree, everything was a testament to the beauty and mystery of nature. Masha and Bear knew that their adventure had only just begun, and they couldn't wait to see what other wonders the Jungle of Wonders had in store for them. The path led to a rushing river. A wobbly bridge made of colorful tiles stretched across it.
Uh-oh.
The bridge swayed in the wind, and Bear felt a little scared. Masha took his paw.
Don't worry, Bear, we can do it.
Carefully, they stepped on each tile: red, blue, green, yellow. They giggled as the bridge swung. On the other side of the river sat a colorful parrot. This parrot was no ordinary bird. It had feathers that shimmered in every color of the rainbow, and its eyes sparkled with a mischievous glint. The parrot was known far and wide as Percy, the wisest and most cunning bird in the land. Percy had a reputation for challenging travelers with his tricky riddles, and today was no different. He perched on a high branch, looking down at the river with a sense of anticipation. It cleared its throat importantly. The sound echoed across the river, catching the attention of anyone nearby. Percy always made sure to announce his presence with a bit of flair. He knew that the key to a good riddle was not just the question itself, but the presentation. He fluffed his feathers and prepared to speak, his voice carrying a tone of authority and mystery.
Greetings, I am Percy. His voice was clear and confident, resonating with the wisdom of countless riddles solved and unsolved. Percy enjoyed these moments, where he could test the wit and intelligence of those who dared to approach him. He looked around, making sure he had everyone's attention before continuing. To pass, you must answer my riddle. His eyes twinkled with excitement as he delivered the challenge. Percy loved the thrill of the game, the suspense of whether the traveler would succeed or fail. He had spent years perfecting his riddles, each one more challenging than the last. This was his favorite part of the day, where he could engage in a battle of wits.
Masha and Bear listened carefully. They knew that Percy's riddles were not to be taken lightly. Masha, with her quick mind and curious nature, was eager to take on the challenge. Bear, on the other hand, was a bit more cautious. He had heard stories of travellers who had been stumped by Percy's riddles and had to turn back in defeat. But together, they felt confident that they could solve whatever Percy threw their way.
"I have cities, but no houses," Percy began, his voice taking on a rhythmic, almost hypnotic quality. The riddle was designed to make the listener think deeply, to look beyond the obvious and find the hidden meaning. Percy watched as Masha and Bear pondered the first clue, their faces a mix of concentration and curiosity. "I have mountains but no rocks," he continued, his eyes never leaving the pair. Percy knew that the key to solving his riddles was to think abstractly, to connect the dots in a way that wasn't immediately apparent. He could see the gears turning in Masha's head, and he felt a thrill of excitement. Would they be able to solve it? "I have water but no fish. What am I?" The final clue hung in the air, a challenge that demanded an answer. Percy waited, his heart beating a little faster. This was the moment of truth. He had seen many travelers falter at this stage, unable to piece together the clues. But he had a feeling that Masha and Bear might just be different.
Bear scratched his head. He was deep in thought, trying to make sense of the riddle. The clues were puzzling, and he felt a bit overwhelmed. But he knew that giving up was not an option. He looked at Masha, hoping she might have an idea.
This is hard, Bear admitted, feeling a bit frustrated. The riddle was unlike anything he had encountered before. It seemed to defy logic, and he was struggling to find a connection between the clues. But he trusted Masha's intelligence and knew that together they could figure it out.
He grumbled. Bear wasn't used to feeling stumped, and it annoyed him. He was determined to solve the riddle, no matter how long it took. He took a deep breath and tried to clear his mind, hoping that a fresh perspective might help. Masha thought for a moment. Then her eyes widened. She had a sudden realization, a moment of clarity that brought all the clues together. She felt a surge of excitement as the answer became clear in her mind. She turned to Bear, ready to share her discovery.
A map! Masha exclaimed, her voice filled with triumph. She knew she was right. The clues all pointed to a map, a place with cities but no houses, mountains but no rocks, and water but no fish. It was the perfect answer.
"Correct! You may pass!" Percy declared, his voice ringing with approval. He was genuinely impressed. It wasn't often that someone solved his riddle so quickly and confidently. He felt a sense of pride in having met such clever travelers.
Percy flew to a nearby branch, pleased with himself. He watched as Masha and Bear crossed the river, their faces beaming with joy. Percy knew that they had earned their passage, and he was happy to have played a part in their adventure. As he settled on his branch, he began to think of new riddles, ready for the next travelers who would come his way. Finally, they reached the spot marked on the map. The children had been on this adventure for days, following clues and solving riddles. Their excitement was palpable as they approached the final destination, but there was no treasure chest. The ground was bare, and the only thing that stood out was a large, ancient tree. The children exchanged puzzled glances, wondering if they had made a mistake. Only a tree laden with strange glowing fruit. The fruits emitted a soft golden light that seemed to dance in the shadows of the forest. It was unlike anything they had ever seen before.
That's it? Glowing fruit? The bear, who had been their loyal companion throughout the journey, looked utterly disappointed. He had been hoping for a chest filled with gold and jewels.
Masha, however, was intrigued. She had always been the curious one, eager to explore and discover new things. The glowing fruit captivated her, and she felt a strange pull towards it. She carefully picked a fruit. It was warm to the touch, and as she held it, she felt a sense of calm wash over her. The fruit seemed to hum with a gentle energy. It felt warm in her hand and shimmered with golden light. The light was mesmerizing, casting beautiful patterns on the ground. Masha couldn't take her eyes off it. As she peeled it, a delicious smell filled the air. It was a scent that reminded her of the happiest moments of her life, a mix of fresh flowers, sweet honey, and a hint of vanilla. It smelled like sunshine and laughter. The aroma was so inviting that the other children gathered around, their initial disappointment forgotten. They watched in awe as Masha continued to peel the fruit, revealing its juicy golden flesh. One by one, they each took a bite. The taste was beyond anything they had ever experienced. It was as if the fruit held the essence of pure joy and happiness. The children laughed and shared the fruit, feeling a deep sense of connection and wonder. As they enjoyed the fruit, the forest around them seemed to come alive. The trees swayed gently, and the air was filled with the sound of birds singing. It was a magical moment, one that they would remember for the rest of their lives. In that moment, they realized that the true treasure was not gold or jewels, but the experiences they shared and the bonds they formed. The glowing fruit had brought them closer together, and they knew that their adventure was just the beginning of many more to come. Suddenly, the fruit in Masha's hand began to change. It transformed into a beautiful wooden doll. Astonished, Bear watched as more glowing fruits transformed. They became a toy train, a rocking horse, a set of building blocks. The jungle floor was now a treasure trove of toys.
This is the best treasure ever!
That night, snuggled up in bed, Masha smiled.
We didn't find gold or jewels, Bear.
But we found something much better.
Friendship, laughter, and fun. Those are the real treasures.
And under the light of the moon, they drifted off to sleep, their hearts full of joy and the magic of the jungle of wonders.